week, as I told you, we're taking a bit of a break from our study that we've been doing in the book of First John, and we looked at the story of Easter. We looked at the resurrection story and what that means for us and what we may be called to reflect upon. But now, this week, we are back. We are talking about First John again, and we are in the very last chapter. So I hope that you had some time to read ahead and that you've already caught up on the events that are happening in the first epistle of John and how he concludes the text. And I want to draw your attention to a few particular verses as we study this final chapter of the book of John. But before we do so, I want to share this with you to get you thinking about what's coming next so that we can then better engage with the text. Many of you are either familiar with the criminal justice system, with the court system, with the legal system, or if not, then maybe you read legal thrillers or you watch drama TV shows or you watch some kind of legal dramas on either in the format of a series or a movie, that you see what happens in a courthouse or in a courtroom. If the prosecution brings up a case against someone, the judge will ask, do you have any witnesses? And then the prosecution will call on the witnesses to corroborate their story. And the defense, to be sure, will also call on their witnesses to corroborate the story. But the point that I'm trying to make is this, that in the court system, in the courtroom, when you stand before a judge, unless you produce a witness, your story has no credibility. And so here's what I'm arriving at. That we as humans trust in the word of other humans. We trust and believe when a witness takes the stand and they swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. They'll tell the whole truth, and so help them God. We believe that what they're telling is something that they have first-hand knowledge of, and so we base our decision on what they have told us, on the information that they have given us. See, we believe witnesses because they were there, and so here we are in this text in 1 John chapter 5, and the writer says this to us, that if we receive human testimony, the testimony of God is greater. This is in verse 9, and he continues on to say, for this is the testimony of God, that he has testified to his Son. And by Son, he is speaking about Jesus Christ. What I am coming to tell you this week is that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, not because I am a witness and say so, not because any preacher or any prophet is a witness and say so, but because God himself has made himself a prophet and has told us that Jesus is the Messiah, that Jesus is his Son, and that whomsoever shall believe in him shall live and not die, and shall have life and have it in abundance, and shall be saved from all their sins and from all tribulation. This is the promise that God gives us, and God himself is the witness, the one bearing witness. So if we can believe humans, John says, why do we find it so difficult to believe God? I know that you may think that this Bible is just a text that is composed by other human beings, but how do we explain that it has survived the test of time? Why do we find it so difficult to believe God who made us humans when we find it so easy to believe humans? We all tend to base our most important decisions on whether or not we can find a witness to corroborate the evidence that is presented to us. Isn't God the greatest witness there ever was? And God witnesses to Jesus Christ being his Son, the Savior of the world. So why do we still doubt? Why do you still doubt? The invitation is still available. God's arms are still wide open. Jesus is still calling out. He's still knocking on your door. All you need to do is open and let him come in. God bears witness to him. And he's here looking to be your witness before the Father. So why don't you open your door and let Jesus in? And then you'll come on, join us, and let us get on the way.
I don't have time to maintain these regrets.